All right, hope everybody's having a good Sunday. Again, fantastic night last night. Proud of first of all, happy for our fans. Thank our fans for that amazing environment out there. Proud of our players and the way they played. Situational football was going to be really, really key last night, and it showed for us offensively to be 8 of 16 on third down was huge in this game. For us to be, 4 or 5 down in the red zone and then be able to hold them, not always, but to field goals at times when they were in the red zone was really, really huge. They were the number one red zone defense in our league going into the game, and I thought our guys did a good job in a lot of that as well. Players of the game offensively was Marshawn Lloyd, Eric Douglas, and Austin Stogner. Marshawn obviously continued to make plays and run the ball really, really hard. Eric Douglas did a great job. Communication up front, blocking a really good front, played really well. And then Austin Stogner did a nice job in the run game. And then made some big-time catches as well in critical moments. Defensively, our players of the game were Jordan Birch. He took that game over in a lot of ways up front. Pressure on the passer, playing hard, making plays in the backfield. Zach Pickens was, I say it every week, but he was lights out last night. He is playing really, 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 really well right now, and is one of the best defensive linemen in this league without a doubt. He's a leader for us. I'm proud of the way he played last night. And our other player of the game was DQ Smith. He played, I think, 82 plays last night defensively. He made plays in the run game. He made plays in the pass game. He got caught, not caught, but he had some one-on-one coverage opportunities and made plays on them. He continues to get better. And then special teams, Tonka Hemingway does a good job for us special teams-wise on multiple units, and the effort he had on the blocked extra point was a huge play in that game. Kai Kroger, way he punted and held controlled field position. Darius Rush was fantastic last night covering punts for us. He had 3 tackles on our punt team alone out there at the gunner position. And then obviously Xavier Leggett for so many things. The kickoff at the end of the game when he went downfield and made a solo tackle. And then the kickoff return, I've had so many people that texted me today, said they've been going to games in Williams-Brice Stadium for a long, long time, and they never heard it as loud as it was on that kickoff return. So what a way to start the game, and what a great effort by Leggett. I knew it was a great effort watching it live and in person, but didn't realize how good until you go back and watch it today. We didn't block it great on our front line. We literally missed 2 blocks on the back side of the return where they had 2 unblocked players at the point of attack. He made both those guys miss. His shoe came off around the 50-yard line and still came out of that scrum over there on their sideline. It's one of the more remarkable individual plays I've ever seen. So proud of him. He continues to get better. And then our scout team players of the week were Hot Rod Fitton, Lavoisier Carroll, and Bradley Dunn. Proud of those guys and how they worked as well. But came out of the game healthy, no injuries to report, which is rare for us on a Sunday, so happy about that. We continue to get healthier and trying to get better and better. Got another big challenge this week and had a good day of meetings and practice tonight. So questions?
Shane, it's Dave. How do you talk to the kids, if at all, as a head coach about the road ahead? What can be accomplished over this last half of the season, or do you even bring that up, preferring to keep to the one game at a time mantra?
It's more kind of what's next for us, David. We certainly proud of our guys and want to celebrate, what we've done to this point, without a doubt, but also understanding that I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but it should be expected what we've done. It shouldn't be a shock to us on the team where we are right now, and as you continue to win, games get bigger and bigger and the opportunities get better and better, and the key for us is just to continue to get better, and that's what we talk about all the time, no matter whether we're playing Kentucky, whether we're playing Texas A&M, whether we're playing Missouri. It's get better this week, and that's what we're trying to do, is just continue to get better, and I think our guys will do that, and they're playing with confidence right now and playing for one another, and we just need to continue to do that.
Shane, it's Colin. I guess you kind of tweeted about it today, but what can that environment with a win like that against that opponent do, especially in recruiting for you guys?
Yeah, no, it can do so much. I mean, we had so many prospects that were there last night. So many of them that were watching on TV that want to play in an environment like that. That they see the passion and the love and energy that our players play with, and they want to be a part of. So certainly, when you're able to win, when you're able to have success, it helps anyone. But when you're able to do it in a fantastic environment like we had last night, and it makes it even better. And that tweet I sent out earlier was true. I mean, my phone was. I had a recruit call me at 2 a.m. last night. He was so excited and still wanted to talk about the game. Now, luckily, I had just gotten home about that point, so I was still up. But it's pretty awesome, and you know we've got some fantastic young men that are committed to us. There's some fantastic young men that we're recruiting and trying to make Gamecocks, and last night was a really, 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 really big step in the right direction.
Hey, Shane, it's Ben Briner. Kind of a two-parter. The first part is on that late play where I think Spencer got sacked, you guys lost the fumble. Is that one where you kind of look at it on film and it looked like maybe an RPO? Is that one where you like a little more from the tackle in terms of slowing down that end, or does Spencer have to be more aware and get it out? And I guess also after that play and that kind of quick momentum shift, what do you learn about your team in the way that they kind of responded and didn't get thrown back? Because obviously a play like that can swing a game in the wrong situation. Yeah,
the play you're referring to, I don't blame the tackle at all for that.
Mm-hmm.
It was very RPO-ish, and the ball's got to come out of Spencer's hand quicker. We were trying to double move the corner out there in space, and the receiver got jammed up a little bit, and Spencer kind of held it a second too long, or a split second too long, trying to wait for that guy to come back open. And in that situation, we can't put that tackle in that position. We got to get rid of that ball quicker. So all of us got to be better there. And then I think it goes back, Ben, to in that situation when that happens, it's another testament to the resiliency and the mental toughness of your team. We talk about it when adversity hits, we get stronger, and that was certainly a tough situation to get hit and turn the ball over and allow them, great field position. But our defense, Coach White always talks about, just put the ball down, and it doesn't matter where and when, just put the ball down and let us go play, and that's what a defense has to do in that situation. So I think on the two turnovers last night, the fumble and then Spencer's, I think we held them to a field goal and a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. So I would like to be able to keep them from scoring any points, but really good when you can just, make them kick field goals in that situation.
Hey, Shane, it's Ben Portnoy. A little bit like what Briner was asking, but in terms of this group, you guys obviously had that dust up in between quarters and kept things kind of, it was kind of, wasn't the prettiest in all the whole game, but obviously came out with the win. I guess between last year eking out some games like that, this year doing the same, I guess, what is it about this group that you feel like has been able to keep you guys, I guess, in the right mindset in tight games like this, not get too high, too low, whatever you want to call it? I guess, what is it about this group that's been able to, gut out some games that maybe things haven't always gone perfectly?
I think it's belief in one another, Ben, that we, these guys truly believe in one another and care for one another and play for one another. I think a lot of it you go back to it's really developed in your off season and in the weight room and summer workouts and winter conditioning and all that stuff as well. Putting your players in really, 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 really hard situations that they got to respond to and get themselves out of. So I think a lot of it is built in the off season. It's leadership. We've got an older team in a lot of ways, with the seniors that we have on this team and older guys that we have on this team. It's competitive spirit that they just love to go compete and just, they believe they're going to find a way. And we've been pretty good in the fourth quarter of games. We've been pretty good in one-score games. And I think it's just it's poise and not getting too high and too low, like you said, and just competing and continuing to play. And I'd love to be a little bit better and turnover margin and things like that, where we're playing, better in a lot of ways, where it's not always close at the end and things like that. But credit our guys that they just, they never blink.
Hey Shane, it's Hale.
Go ahead, Hale.
The pass rush obviously did not get a sack, but it seemed like they were in the backfield throughout the night in the quarterback's faces. Did you guys have a count or a tally of the number of quarterback hurries, pressures, or plays that disrupted the passer?
We do. I don't have it off the top of my head. We talked about the number when I met with the defense today, Hale, but I forget exactly what it was. But it was a bunch. I mean, he got hit, and we affected that guy. Our defensive line, they affected him being able to get their hands up around his throws and bat some balls. And going into it, we needed to control A-Chain and not let him get going at the running back position and feel like we did. And then we said we needed to affect the quarterback, and we absolutely did with the physicality that we played with up front and hitting him.
And following up on that, the last two games, there's been a noticeable difference that way up front. How much of that is a credit, or how much do you attribute the success winning those two games to just that specifically?
A ton. They've really, really played well up front, and they should. We've got a really good offensive line and a really good defensive line, and in the SEC, you got to be able to win on the line of scrimmage and up front. And credit to our players for how they've come along and continue to get better up there as well. But that is certainly key to be able to be a physical football team, or to win football games in this league. You got to be a physical football team, and I feel like our guys up front are certainly, our football team is physical, and I feel like our guys up front are certainly doing a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage the last two games.
Hey, Shane, it's John. It seems like Cam Smith came into the season with a reputation among officials of being a little grabby, maybe. Seemed like he had a couple of tough calls on him last night. What's your assessment been of that this year, and how has he handled things?
I don't disagree with what you said going into it, and I don't disagree with what you said with a couple tough calls last night. And I think Cam's handled it well. We've got NFL corners. We've got a great defensive staff that does a great job of scouting opponents and trying to give our guys an understanding of what play is coming from a passing game standpoint. We got smart DBs that put themselves in position to play physical and make plays. And there were certainly a couple tough calls last night, but I feel like Cam's handled it well, and because got to always play with good technique and understand that eyes are on him. So I'll leave it at that.
And also, you rarely see a flag picked up on a PI unless a ball is ruled uncatchable. Did you get an explanation on yours last night?
You talking about the one down there towards our end zone, the locker room end?
Correct.
Yeah. I was told that the one guy threw it, and then I was told that they picked it up because they didn't feel like the defensive back impeded our guy's ability to make the play, that it was just good coverage. So saw the tape of it today, and yeah. Oh, well, next question.
Hey, Shane, it's Alan. We heard from a couple players last night that kind of chippiness at the end of the third quarter where the bench is emptied. They kind of viewed that a little disrespectful. What was your angle on kind of that whole thing, and did the mood on the sideline change at all after that happened?
I didn't see necessarily everything, but from what I could tell, it was obviously the change of the quarter. And I felt like our guys were coming to the sideline, and we always come together at the 50-yard line at the start of the fourth quarter. And from what I saw, it looked like, one of their guys walked in kind of towards our sideline, clapping in the faces of our players. And didn't really see what happened after that. Looked like somebody got pushed, and next thing you know, kind of people were in each other's faces. So thought the officials did a good job of keeping it from escalating, and our guys were already eager to get out there in the fourth quarter and compete, and I think that only increased their competitive spirit to go out there.
Shane, it's Colin. I guess looking at Spencer's numbers, they might not be like crazy pop off the page good, but just how would you kind of evaluate his performance and some of the throws he made, especially in the downfield passing? It seems like that was his best game doing that last night.
We we wanted to go into that game and wanted to run the football and felt like we had to be stubborn running the football, and we were able to run it as the game went on, and then we wanted to take shots and attack their secondary and down the field, and we took some shots and we just weren't able to connect on them. But I thought Spencer made some nice throws and gave our guys opportunities to just make one-on-one plays, whether it be Van and Stogner on the sideline on a couple of those throws, or a couple of them where he scrambled out of there and found Josh on the scramble as well. So he did some good things, made some plays for us. I'm sure, like every week, there's some throws that he'd like to have back, or some throws he would have loved to have made, but he did a good job for us and was a big part of us winning that game last night.
And you guys have kind of been pretty good of the last 2 weeks, knock on wood, I guess, of converting on third and longs. How much of that is just play calling, and how much of that is just guys executing and getting into space and making plays?
It's a combination. Certainly, you always, when we go into a week, we want a game plan. When we get to third down, we say, okay, here's what we want to do on third and short, here's what we want to do on third and medium, and here's what we want to do on third and long, based on, one, what we're good at, but two, what we expect the other team to do to us and how we want to attack it. So part of it is game planning, but in those situations, you've got to make plays. Your offensive line, typically you're going to get pressure, and you got to be able to protect, and our guys did a good job with that last night. And then you've got to get open, and you've got to make plays. So we did a nice job of that. That was key for us. And we weren't very good on third and short. That's where we got to be better. We didn't do a good job converting last night in short yardage situations. But, yeah, the third downs were key, and to be able to do it in longer yardage situations was really, really key.
Shane, it's Ben Briner again. What does it tell you about a guy like Xavier Legette, in the fact that, he's a fourth-year guy, he's not necessarily at the top of the wide receiver rotation, and in an era where, a lot of kids might pout, some kids might transfer, he basically instead turned his energy and dedicated himself to becoming this kind of special teams ace that he's grown into?
Yeah, I think he's just a testament to what he's about, and special teams ace, but he's a really, really good receiver for us as well at a deep position right now for us. He had a great week of practice last week. I think one of you guys asked me last night, did I see it coming with Legette, and probably should have said yes, just because of the way he practiced last week. He's a competitor. He's a great athlete. He's a really good football player, and obviously a heck of a person, and somebody that his teammates have a ton of respect for because of what he's done and how he works.
Shane, Dave again. You guys won a trophy game last night, and you got another one coming up this week. Do you mention that to your guys? I mean, is that something that comes up in your week-long or pregame prep?
Maybe. I really hadn't gotten into it too much as far as how we want to, attack this week and things like that. But, maybe if we do, it won't be much at all. We talked, at the beginning of the week, I don't even know if I mentioned that we had a trophy for the A&M game. And then this week, I think I did last year. I think I mentioned the Mayor's Cup, and obviously that didn't work too well, so we may figure out plan B this week and not mention it. We'll see.
Hey, Shane, it's Phil Kornblut. What's the latest with Coach Atkins? Was he back working with the offensive line last night?
Greg's doing well. He's doing well right now. Thanks.
And just to follow up, a couple of your coaches have been mentioned with the Charlotte job that opened up today by one of the national reporters. What do you ask of your assistant coaches when their names are mingled with openings, or even if there's some contact? How do you ask them to handle that here during the season?
Oh, they're all professionals, Phil. I mean, we got some fantastic coaches on our staff, and as we continue to win football games, other schools are going to want to talk to them, whether it be for assistant coach positions or head coaching positions. So I'm happy for them, and what I tell our coaches is just, keep me informed and of anything that's going on, and I'll help them in any way. If there's an opportunity out there, it's something that they're interested in, that they feel is like a better situation for them and a chance to advance their career. But I also know that this is a place that our guys love coaching at and want to be at and believe in what we're doing. And when you win football games, you get opportunities to advance in your career. But I got a great staff that I want to keep together for as long as we possibly can.
Shane, it's Ben Portnoy again. I guess, obviously in the middle of the season, I don't know how much you guys get a chance to look at, things like getting ranked for the first time in 4 years or beating A&M for the first time and all of those things. I mean, do you get a chance to, in a season, in the course of a year, especially this year when you guys have had some big firsts for the first time in a couple of years and where this program's been at, like, do you guys get a chance to actually reflect on that, think about that, discuss it at all? Or I guess what does that look like as far as, where this program's come in, a year and a half now, basically?
Yeah, we've come a long ways, but in my mind, Ben, it's kind of the next step, and for us, it's what's next. And we don't go around, patting ourselves on the back and celebrating that we're ranked today. I think it's a great, but I told the team in the team meeting, it's a great testament to their hard work that we are. It's a great testament to what they've done. That last night was like it was. An awesome environment and a big game that we won. That's a credit to them. But for us, we have higher goals, and I don't think anybody went into the season saying, okay, man, it would be an amazing season if we could finish the season ranked 25th in the country. I think we all felt like we'd be that we would be ranked and hopefully higher than that. And for us, it's a process. It's what's next, and we're hungry, and no one's satisfied. But we certainly, don't spend a lot of time talking about what we've done. It's just we've got a lot of work to do, and for us it's what's next, and what's next this week is continue to try and find a way to get better and better as a team, and let's find a way to try and go put our best forward against Missouri on Saturday afternoon. So all right, see you guys Tuesday. Thanks.